beats, the flow, the rhythm. All movement starts from the streets. Streets A&R podcast.
All right, we ready to get started. How y'all feeling out there tonight? Man, well, we are live today, so welcome to the Streets A&R podcast. It's your host, Giddy Jicky with it.
It's the other host, Johnny No Good.
And we have just witnessed a treat, a blessing. I'm gonna call it a blessing based on what we just heard. We got two of our favorite people and artists in the city, in the region, in the country with us today that just came out with just some fire, man. Just want to give a shout out and welcome to the stage, Tylynn and Light Pro. We are so happy that y'all invited us here to be with y'all in this moment. And we gonna get right to it, man. So you don't know the half.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Where did that title get inspired from? Because we don't know any, actually. So tell us what the half is.
So, I think it just kind of is playing off of the saying whenever somebody is talking about something relatively dramatic or very intense, and they're like, oh man, you don't even know the half. That's what it was. It was saying like, if you saw me now, you'd have a certain perception, etc. But where I came from, where I started at, what I've had to go through, my life experiences, that was the defining statement. Is like, like you don't even know the half. So yeah. Word.
And I think it's really dope that while that's the title, half of the album is one executive producer and half is one MC. So y'all are the halves that make this thing whole. So I think that's super dope with the title. LP, what is it like being able to work with an artist like Tylynn and being able to executive produce the entire project?
I'm gonna keep it real. When I met Tylynn, I was like, that's a female me. That's how I felt. Hey, like, no, for real, like as an MC, you know, I grew up with my man Johnny No Good, and we really took our pen seriously. And that show, thank you, bro, for putting the sneaker soiree together. That's where we met, and that was our first time being able to witness each other, right?
That's right.
And then her work ethic is crazy. You know what I'm saying? She can sing, she can rap, she can do it all, you feel me? And so we just sat down, I believe, after the sneaker soiree, and we were down at the lab in the studio till like 4 a.m. 30, 40 people deep, you feel me? So, man, you put it together, bro. Much love and respect.
Yeah.
A&R, man. A&R, that's what I do. So with that, we're going to actually play these tracks back during this session. So we're going to go back to track number 1, man, Kinda High. Yeah. Kinda High. I don't know nothing about that. But
Me neither.
so what actually inspired that song when you talking to people who may be dealing with certain issues or certain battles with maybe substances and finding a new high and like a high off life, a high off spirituality? What inspired that?
I think honestly, just from what I've grown up around, what I've seen, people that I like have had relationships with, etc. I know that typically like that comes attached with some form of trauma, and that is just a form of escape, right? It's not actually a form of healing. It's not a form of growth. So that was just my way of trying to give like encouragement in that, to say like, hey, there is something that is actually fulfilling. There is something that actually doesn't run out, right? Because that's a habit where it's like any habit, it's gonna run out and you're gonna have to come back to it. That's what makes it a habit, right? So like the thing with God, which was really where the inspiration came from, the thing with God is that like it's not something that runs out. So I'm just saying like there's a better way in essence.
Man, right on. LP, it's funny. I remember when the homie Reggie painted you on the wall, and that was during the time
We was like, you cut your hair. You was like, man, I think I'm done. I'm finna go get a 9 to 5. Um, what is it like when you meet people like this that help kind of like that pilot back, and you get back to your calling and get back to your high?
Right. So I've told Tylynn several times that she saved my life. As far as musically, like I was feeling down, feeling like, I had no real outlet. You feel me? And once we connected, it like you said, really reignited my flame. You know what I mean? Lyrically, and also well with the producing. You know what I mean? So Ty helped bring me back out. You feel me? So we stepping on next. So man, it's been great. It's been lovely.
Praise God.
The track is called Kinda High. And I noticed that in that second verse, you kind of talked about you were supposed to be a person who's giving light and kind of judging people. A lot of times people come into religion and they use that as a new type of high, a new type of substance. How did you balance out finding ego and finding purpose?
Yeah. So for me, I realized there was like a whole phase that I went through, especially like around the time when I was in college, right? I was very zealous, I would say. But at the same time, I didn't know how to balance what I had found with how to convey that or give that to people that I loved. But obviously, like I had the concern because I loved them, right? And so like I had to realize that love was the greatest part, right? To just love people, right? Like to be there for people, to encourage people. And that's something that like I had to find. And I think honestly I only found that like due to God's grace, due to things that I went through, and God had to kind of show me, you know what I mean? And through like his grace, I realized like, okay, now I need to take that and learn how to translate that like to other people.
That's fire. LP, I got a quick question for you as well. Eric had asked you about how did you kind of refine that passion, rekindle that pilot light. One thing that people don't know is you've been producing. How did you decide to start sharing that talent with other people and start spreading that gift around the city? Because I know it's one thing you've been sitting on for a while.
I'm gonna just be honest with you, right? Every song, and we got some MCs and some singers out here, right? Every song you make is like a child, is like a baby. You know what I mean? So I look at my songs like daughters, right? Or a son in this case. And so I finally found someone who is worthy. I finally found someone who was worthy, for real, and that's like how I honestly felt. Cause like you said, bro, I've been doing this since I was 12. You know what I mean? 20 years in the game. But yeah, and just understanding her passion and seeing how like even our messages and like just how we carry ourselves aligned, it was just all very natural. You feel me?
Sir, man, that's what's up. We gonna get to this second track. I'm gonna call it the lead track because this one been out for a minute and it's been putting the pressure on us for the album. But we gonna get into peer pressure. Peer pressure, man. It's funny. I know when a lot of times we think about peer pressure, it's always what is that negative peer pressure that's making us do and be a part of certain things. But let's flip that. Even though that's the story of the song, what is it like? What type of peer pressure have you had being around other great people who are really maneuvering and pushing through in this industry?
That's good. Honestly, I feel like me and LP is probably the greatest example that I could think of. Which is like going back to one of his songs, like a lyric that I really love is the I push you and you push me. It's like a shoving match minus the grudge attached. I really feel like that's us. Like to the T. Like I told LP, like the first time I saw him perform with a band, it blew my mind. I was like, yo, who is that? I was like, I need a band. Like instantly, you know what I mean? And me and LP, we have conversations like all the time. And I feel like it's a very mutual thing. It feels like iron sharpening iron all the time. And I think for me, it just makes me better, like in a lot of different ways, even like aside from music, you know what I mean? Just the way that LP is a very principled person. Like I respect that a lot. I don't think I've ever told you that, but like stuff like that, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I think it's a very, very beautiful thing. I think that between like me and LP, for sure, we have a lot of positive peer pressure.
Same question, LP.
What was the question worded again?
I don't know. I'll be on the fly.
Yeah, that
it's
was
about how does it feel, not necessarily having negative peer pressure, but positive peer pressure to achieve.
Like I said, I was ready to hang it up. You know what I'm saying, lyrically and with the production. And like I said, like Tylynn is tough. You know what I'm saying. So a lot of times in hip hop, which is like a male dominant sport, we like do the gender divide, and I feel like some male MCs feel comfortable with that. Like, oh, she plays for the WNBA. Like, no, this is like we at Rucker. She outside with it, and she's dominating both. You know what I'm saying? So, as an MC, as a true rapper, as a true artist, as a songwriter, she made me be like, oh snaps! I thought I was tough, and I said, oh, okay, I can't get comfortable. So that fire got lit.
Yes, sir. And with that, we gonna play the interlude reminiscing real quick. Yeah. Yeah, because I got a little quick. Y'all wanna skip the interlude?
I mean, no, if you got a question, let's do it.
Run the interlude real quick. All right. So the kind of the question I wanted to ask with that, when it comes to people who support you and have seen your journey, what does it feel like to have those people in your corner who understand exactly what you've been through and are still riding with you to push you to move forward? What is that feeling when you have that, whether it's friends, family, comrades? What does that feel like?
It feels amazing, you know. Honestly, I just feel like it's a blessing, you know, because we have definitely like been through a lot, like gone through a lot. And my sister knows, she's probably literally like my best friend, you know what I mean? Because nobody could really understand things about me and what we've gone through except for us. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it's definitely a blessing, and I'm super thankful for it. Even with like friends who have been around for like 10 plus years. You know what I mean? Since I was in middle school and had totally different rap names. It's just, yeah, it's a blessing.
So, with that, I want to go ahead and move on to move on. Let's get to it.
It's my jam.
Yeah. That beat right there is crazy. That beat is crazy. Tylynn, when you hear a song like that, like what's kind of take us behind your creation process? Do you hear beats and get inspired, or do you kind of already know what you want to do when you come to the beat? Like, there's a beat like that. How do you work with a beat like that?
So the thing is, me and LP sat down and did all these from scratch. So it wasn't really like he's making a beat and sending it to me. We sitting down together and creating it right in that moment. And LP, like once he get into his workflow, like it's just I think we kind of catch the same frequency real fast. And yeah, like it doesn't take me long to know like what does this make me feel like. And then from there I just go off of what it's making me feel, what's the first thought, memory, idea that's coming into my mind, and I'm like, oh, I know what this feels like, and this feels like moving on a lot. This feels like it reminds me of just kind of like not ever really staying put. And so yeah.
LP, this question is for you. I remember a long time ago you talked about like wanting to get back to your rapping style and like being as creative as we was when we was teenagers. And it's kind of seemed like you hit that flow when it comes to beats. How did you tap back into creativity when it comes to producing beats? A lot of producers are stale. They have a sound where they can't change up the sound. You produce the whole track, the whole project that don't really sound like it sounds like different producers are on it. How did you rediscover that ability to kind of tap into that creativity?
I mean, like Ty said, like really being hands on. So like he said, we really going from the ground up, and so there was a track we had to cut from the album. So this like real album process. I'm mad about it, but you know what I'm saying, Nayeli. Shh. But my daughter Nayeli out there who talking, she actually helped like make the beat for the song that got cut, right? So literally, it's Tylynn being a cappella. She'll hum something, sing something. I get on the keys, like, okay, I feel like you in the, okay, a little music theory added to it. Okay, then we go from there. And so literally, very little did I do by myself. You know what I mean? It's literally, I give her some bones, then she adds the flesh to it, you know what I mean? So really hands on, 50-50.
And LP, I'm gonna ask. It sound like your sound is like from the country. Like I'm from the South, so listening to UGK and adding organs and stuff, like it sounded like you like strumming the guitar, almost like a banjo. It sounded like a country rap tune. Is it? Were you inspired by that sound in the South? Is that something that you kind of lean on? 'Cause I hear a lot of Southern old soul in a lot of your production.
Yeah, well, you know, probably like most musicians, you know, every time you see a musician, they say they grew up in the church. You know what I mean? So having that gospel, having that soul, you know what I'm saying, like from a child. Shout out to my mom, she left, you know what I mean? But, you know what I'm saying, we grew up in the church. And so also my family, that where I get my culture from, is a Southern family, you know what I'm saying? So grandma, rest her soul, you know what I'm saying, we listening to James Brown and Sam Cooke, you know what I'm saying, while she cleaning, you feel me? And I grew up wanting to be a hot boy like Lil Wayne and them. So Manny Fresh, you feel me? Manny Fresh is the GOAT, you know what I'm saying? So like my musicality is based on like emotion, and I want you to feel something, you know what I mean?
Sir, yes, sir. We're gonna get into our next track, Old Faith Fool. 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 I'm not gonna lie, I really love when MCs show their ability, even doing a recall line from the first verse on Transparent to then going to the second line, a second verse doing transgenerational. So you went from transgenerational, and still talking about parent and father in that second. And I don't know if you even did it on purpose.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, exactly. No, you got it, brother.
But in that song, it's like the longing for and understanding what it means for to have that trauma, especially with not having a present father, and the importance of fathers typically being placed on that guidance, and then you having to find yourself and way through it. What what is it about your journey that you needed to search for that guidance, and how did you begin to find that guidance, whether like you talked about your grandmother and dealing with all of the traumas in your family, like how did you get on that path and finding that guidance? And
I think for me it was like just so many years of dealing with my emotions, right? Like I was angry a lot like as a kid, you know what I mean? And some things probably were visible, like moments where it was very visible, but I feel like a lot of it I tried to keep it to myself for the most part because it didn't seem normal to just be angry, which is not. You know what I mean? But like I dealt with that a lot like in my childhood, in my youth, and then I got older. And once I was going off to college, I was just like, I think I have this nipped in the bud, but truthfully, that wasn't the case. It was just I wasn't in the environments that were giving me the triggers. So then you fast forward, and then it's like now I'm going into adulthood, and all those things are starting to come out because I'm in certain environments or I'm doing certain things, I'm making certain choices. And it was a reflection of just like my trauma, right? And so like I think I got tired of repeating the same cycles, and I was like, I need to like figure this out. I need to get out of this because I don't want to be in this. I don't like feeling this particular way, you know what I mean? Whatever it may have been. And so like from there, by literally God's grace, I just kind of went on the journey to figure it out so that I could get rid of it, because I was like, I don't want to literally go through my entire life and I'm still dealing with these traumas. I'm still dealing with these triggers and these behaviors and all of these different things. And so started doing the work, you know what I mean? But from like therapy to like just other things, you know what I mean? But yeah.
May is Health Awareness Month, and I know that you are a believer and a person that walk in faith. How did you come to the effect of ascribing to therapy? Because I know sometimes it is like shunned in certain areas. How did you see the importance of mental wellness, and how do you advocate for that for others?
Yeah, absolutely. I tell people all the time, like Jesus and therapy. That's my thing. You know what I'm saying? But like for me, I think also like I'm a realist. Like, yeah, nobody was talking about therapy when I was growing up. And then you talk to people now tell them about therapy, like, and people that look like us, black folks, will look at you like, I don't need to talk to nobody or can't nobody tell me. But the thing is, it's like, but they can, because though you can call on your friends, you can call on your family members, etc., the truth is they know you. There's going to be some level of bias, right? And then also there's the lack of, these people aren't actually studied to be able to identify certain things. A lot of times people just going to try to love you. They're going to try to give you the best advice that they possibly can, but sometimes you do need to step outside of that. You need to talk to somebody who doesn't know you, who's just going to tell you things objectively, who's like, this is what's going on. And for me, it was like, I knew that like once I started attending therapy, if I could talk to somebody who would just give me the language to know what was going on, then I could know how to work through it to change it. But that is the biggest thing. Like if nobody ever tells you this is what it is, then you don't even know the steps to take to start fixing it and healing, you know?
Yeah. And we're going to move to the next song then. One love, one bathroom. All right, now that we done being human, back to the superheroes on the stage. Give it up for Tylynn and Lipo one more time. Real quick, just one question on that song. When you talk about one love, a lot of people always think Rastafarian, Jamaican, Bob Marley. What does the concept of one love mean to you in terms of making that the title for that track?
The whole inspiration was just me like really truly embracing God's love. And that was life changing for me, to be honest. Because for a long time, honestly, I learned that I was intellectualizing a lot of my faith, right? Because I can study, I can learn, like a lot. You know what I mean? I feel like God has blessed my brain capacity. And so I think for a long time I was kind of intellectualizing faith, which also came along with like me like learning a lot. I'm knowing a lot, and then I'm trying to convict other people in essence, you know what I mean? But like learning the difference between knowing and truly choosing and submitting and accepting is like totally different. And so for me, that's really what it was. It was me discovering and not necessarily discovering, because I think it was always there, but like I said, it was me just accepting the love that God was giving me, always giving me, the grace, the ways in which he was saving me, things that I really had to sit down and that the Lord had to remind me of. And I think when I really accepted that, it just gave me like this joy that hasn't gone away, and I don't foresee it going away. All right, Lord. So, but yeah, that's really what inspired it. That's what it means to me.
All right, appreciate that, man, for sure. I do want to play Nana's prayer, because some of us no longer have our nanas, so it is always good to hear from our elders.
Amen.
Hey.
Amen.
Shout out to all the elders in the crowd, all the nanas and pawpaws in the crowd.
Hey, she's here too. If y'all want autographs, just wait till after the show.
So let's play Nana's prayer.
We recording? So I guess this question is either for either one of you or both of you, because I done came to several of y'all shows, and one thing that I noticed is y'all have very great family and friend support. Tylynn, from your mom and sister at the video shoots, coming to all your shows, LP to your mom, your cousins, your children. How important is it for y'all to have family support to keep doing what y'all doing?
I think it's everything, to be honest, because I started writing raps when I was 6.5, 7 years old, and like my sister was the first person I wanted to show my raps to when I was writing them, and she would tell me that I was spelling my words wrong, but I was like, it doesn't matter, just look at it, isn't that dope? You know what I mean? So yeah, it means everything to me.
Yeah, for sure. So, shout out to my family in the audience too, man. They always coming through. They better, because I'm trying to set the family up. You know what I mean? So I better see them faces. No, but no, it's a blessing. You feel me? So like she said, my grandma or our grandma passed away about like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? And so, Nana, thank you for letting me get adopted. You feel me? So now I got a new one. or another one I should say. And for the kids and like my cousins and my mom, it makes me feel good that I can walk in my purpose, and I can not be ashamed for them to see me in that light. You know what I'm saying? I don't think everybody can be proud of what they do. So I'm very proud that like my youngest baby, 3 years old out there, oldest 14, you know what I'm saying? They can come and see me in my fullest element and see like what the creator is doing through me. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully inspire them, because the kids love singing too. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the baby done help make a song. You feel me? So I love my family, and I hope they love me too.
Man, that's a blessing. With that, we're going to get to the next track. We got Prodigal Son. Shout out to the house music.
Come on.
To the house music.
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
resonates a certain way. That's
Mhm.
why it was created. Real quick, I actually think this is one of those songs that is probably the easiest placement on movies, just because of the vibe and the vibration that you get from it. In creating this LP, what made you get into the house bag? I guess this is your screwball on the project, if you will, a picture.
Yeah, so y'all see at the beginning it's like slow, like halftime. And so originally the beat was supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, something like that. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna try something different. Like I feel it, you know what I'm saying? Drake did that honestly, never mind. So he done brought it back a little bit, you feel me? And so I said, okay, let's
Who was
add
here
some
before
back.
Drake, man?
For sure. I'm just in for the new generation, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like Tylynn was a little hesitant at first, you know what I'm saying? But then after, like, once I laid all the drums down properly, she said, oh, that's the one. And I feel like probably recorded it like that night type stuff, you feel me? So that was like an instant banger.
And Tylynn, knowing what you stand for and your message, did you feel with this type of song, with that type of production, it was important to lay those tracks and be able to not necessarily preach, but give your perspective in places to where that type of song can play in certain venues that normally that message might not be played just because of the beat? Do you feel like that's important to you to be able to share that message to everybody and get outside of just the preaching to the choir, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I've been blessed to operate on both sides of the continuum, right? And I think over time it's kind of helped me to find like the happy medium. I feel like just so as long as I'm giving my most honest truth, and whatever it is that God puts on my heart, that it'll be received by whoever needs to receive it. And sometimes you just gotta say what you gotta say. Like if there's something heavy on your heart that you feel needs to be said, just say it. Just quick backstory, real short, but like that song came about because I did a freestyle, literally singing that hook in my kitchen. I didn't like sit and think about or write. I just freestyled it. It just came out because God literally put it on my heart, and I just started singing. God, put your hands on the babies, we need it. I don't know why it came to my heart, but I did. Just started randomly singing it, and then like recorded a video of myself singing it. I sent it to LP, and I said, "Bro, I think we need to do something with this." And yeah.
Hey, that's what happens when they speak through. They speak through you. Now we finna get to the song that hopefully y'all get a call about in the very near future.
No.
No, it's good.
Oh,
to get
what?
the
Okay,
call.
you're right. In the
just
in the
doing
near
that.
future. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we want them
Catch me
calls.
if you can.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Swiss don't play. But we gonna hope for it in a good way, man. We gonna run again and again. Just rocking. When it, I just want to ask when it's funny that song is again and again. So it's like falling as far as getting off your path, but also falling back in love with God's grace and mercy. How have you through your journey? How have you been able to find yourself to continuously want to grow and seek God, even though you may fall or I would say waver, but never stray too far?
Um, man, honestly, I really feel like just God's grace, you know. So like, shout out to my family, like because I always say I'm super thankful that my family like planted the seed of faith in me since a child. Because I think otherwise, I don't know if I even would have had any interest in like, opening myself up to the Lord, period, you know what I mean? And that's just because of everything that we went through. So like, I think it's really just like God's grace as to why I keep falling, because there have been provisions in my life that literally I could only owe to God. I'm talking about things that are very, very specific, which is why I say things like, you know, I know what you showed me and I know what you told me, and literally nobody could tell me any different. So yeah, it's just really God's grace.
I got a quick question for you because the title of this project is "You Don't Know the Half," and one thing you keep talking about is God's grace. Could you give us an example of what God's grace looked like?
Oh man,
We
that
can know
would,
the half.
yeah, that would take forever. But like honestly, like just the things that like we experience growing up, the things that we did not have, the moments that we've encountered that like to some degree could feel like near death moments. And the fact that like we're still here, we're not people who just have hate carrying it around like in our heart, etc. And really all of that was from, I think, literally leaning into our faith and God showing up like when we needed it. So for me, that's probably just a general way to say the example. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a good segue into the next track. We talking about leap, taking that leap. So let's run that leap. I'm gonna ask you real quick, LP. As somebody who's been an artist for a long time and really been working this industry, what is it like to continue to tell, you know, your family, the family that depends on you, that you have fully committed and taken that leap into your calling, into one of your gifts and your talents? What is it like just moving through that process and staying true to that jump?
Oh man, so just as of right now, it's been very time consuming. So with everything, you know, the law of exchange, you know, it's a sacrifice for everything, and but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for the betterment of my children and my family. You know what I'm saying? So, like she was saying something in the old faith about transgenerational, right? We trying to do that with the wealth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting my best foot forward. And like together, like you said, you don't know the half. The both of us have taken a leap and like made a major step. You feel me? So, yeah.
And Tylynn, when you take that jump and you talk about going through your process and not really having to be concerned about, you know, who's in the way, how is it balancing making sure people who are important understand that you still with them, but you have to continue to push forward on what you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, amen. That's a great question. So I think for me, I had to get to a place where I learned my capacity, right? So like I want to pour out, like I want to love, I want to be there for the people that love me as well. But I also have to know that at the same time, if something gets to the point where it is like literally causing for me to like lose all of my peace, for me to start feeling like I'm empty, to start feeling like I don't have anything else to give, I had to learn to just dial back and just in essence like value my no. You know what I mean? Because I know that I'm walking in my purpose. So like if something's gonna try to come along and disrupt that, I really mean like if I hurt you along the way, it wasn't a part of my plans, but like how many times can I keep reiterating, you know, the exact same thing? Like I can still love you, but like not at the cost of having to like I said, sacrifice like my peace and my purpose. So yeah.
So as the old folks say, us old folks, charge it to my head, not my heart.
Come on.
Right.
Who finished that sentence out there? You're showing your age.
We old. No. So we're gonna get into the final track, man, of this amazing project. We're gonna get into Blue Skies. Man, I'm gonna start this just on technical on LP and Thailand. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be honest.
yeah,
That
yeah.
ending track is not an ending track. That's like a to be continued. And if I'm
Amen.
am I correct in my analysis of what that sound is?
It's only the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
So LP, I'm gonna be with this album and how you sequence it. A lot of albums typically start off with the production being super heavy, as opposed to this one being more of the artist and the lyrics speaking at the beginning, and you saving that super heavy bangers for the end. Was that done on purpose to where you could even have an artist to where they can carry the front and you carry, not necessarily carry, but you really shine through on these back songs on the end of on the tail of the album.
So the producer in me, right? So like me and Tylynn, like real life bro and sis, right? And so to the point where like I know she be getting annoyed because I'm very critical. You feel me? I always got an idea or something to say. You feel me? But my main thing as like a producer, understanding me as a rapper on the flip reverse, right, is that the project is supposed to highlight the MC. So everything was made very intentional to highlight the lyrics. Like even if you hear like we got some bass, but there's many moments in the songs where you just gotta listen. Ain't no bass gonna break through. It's all treble. You know what I'm saying? So that's very intentional. And it's a roller coaster. All emotion, all emotion.
I think just as I'm coming to the end of this project, my question for you, Tylynn, to kind of wrap this out, what's something that we should be taking from this project we don't know to have? We know about your brand, really resilient. We know about your messaging, but as somebody listening to this project, what's something that you want them to take from this moving forward?
I'm hoping that people can take this story of like redemption and hope. That's what I'm really hoping to give people through this, right? I'm hoping that this paints a good picture of how I got to be where I am. And more than that, when you hear this and you think to yourself, wow, like she's experienced that, she's been through that, she used to think like that. And then you see me now and you go, maybe the stuff she's talking about in these songs really is what she says it is, right? Maybe there really is hope and light at the end of the tunnel because I see where she is. I see this joy. I see this hope, this faith, and she's telling me she's been through all of these things and this was the solution to it. So that's what I'm hoping that people take away.
Yeah. And again, you don't know the half, and the album is out
June 2nd.
next Friday,
Next
June
Friday,
2nd.
next Friday.
So make sure y'all cop that and buy it.
Yeah. And make sure y'all go back to the merch table and buy these shirts. We about to go back there and we gonna meet y'all there. But before we do that, we're gonna have a Q&A and allow for you guys to ask. Oh my goodness, hi CC. We gonna allow for you guys to ask us some questions about the album.
Real quick. There's a cordless mic somewhere. So just some shout outs, man. Shout out to Marcy Yates and the Culture House for like holding us the space. Oh, we turned off. We still good. Shout out to Chef West back here spinning. And last but not least, Big Ben the Prodigy. Can you stand up so the people can see you? This is the engineer, the man behind all the magic and the polishing. Yo, Denny. Appreciate you, bro.
And more than that is, well, not more, but equally as much as that, I want to give a shout out to Ben's wife, Pilar. But I'm gonna tell y'all why, though. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Seriously, Ben was staying up till like 3:30 in the morning to mix and engineer these songs. You feel me? Like literally going from his 9 to 5 straight into the studio, making sure that he polished these as much as we wanted. Like I'm talking about any revision we asked for, he said, it's nothing. We gonna do it, to the point where we're getting emails at 2:30. I'm asleep. I don't see it until the morning, but I'm like, Ben, bro, go to bed. At this point, it's already the next day, but that's how much he dedicated. But honestly, if it wasn't for having a wife who was really supporting him, that would not be happening. So I don't want to overlook that at all. Thank you, sis. I love you too. Yeah. All right, we about to open it up to y'all.
I almost failed.
That's okay. I gotta do one thing. how is it being an artist and keeping a job? Because when I listen to these beats and you talking about being stand up till 2:30, and I know I come to your house, you in the studio. I'm like, I got nowhere to find her at. But like, how is it having a job and doing another job at the same time? Like, don't you get tired?
No. Honestly, don't get tired. You know what I mean? It's really just like the passion, to be honest. I feel like I know that this is my purpose and I know that this is what God is calling me to. So I know that God is going to make a way for it. It just really took me a while to get to the place where I started doing it God's way instead of my own. And I've already been seeing like the fruit of that come to fruition. So like I already know that it won't be long. But yeah, I don't get tired because it's really like my passion.
Meditate and pray on it.
Hey.
You know it.
Next question. Over there.
Gonna tell a joke first?
No. No, but I want to ask you, being a female, black female, what made your album is just so refreshing compared to what I hear most black females coming out the gate with? What made you take that direction instead of sexualizing yourself and all that stuff?
So I think this kind of started from young, right? Like when I first started writing raps, and then you have to understand who my influences were. I started writing around 6 or 7, and what was being played in my house was DJ Quick and Project Pat and Lil Flip and Big Mo and you know what I mean? So like, and then like on the women's side, it was more like Erykah Badu or Lauryn Hill or Brandy. So like I didn't really take to or ascribe to like the other female artists like type of music. But then also too, I think really like my mom, like my mom, I don't think that was ever even an option. And I wouldn't want to. It was never my purpose, like as far as making music, even from being young. Like I had an older cousin who told me like, rap about what's happening in your life. And only rap about that because that's what people want to hear and that's what's going to help people. He told me that at 11 and that never left me. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm Okay. This is what I want to know. Yes, we did. We went through life and life was not easy, but it gave you a testimony. Do you wish that your life had been different?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't wish that my life would have been different. Because everything happened the way it was supposed to. It was purposeful, and at the end of the day, I feel like it's the thing that showed me that God was in the middle of all of it because of everything that we went through and experienced and the fact that I could be on the other side of it. I know that was literally nothing but God keeping his hand like on us, so yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Mom.
Because from a little girl up, you always have the beat in your head. Yeah, this is nothing new. What y'all hear, this is not new for her. That beat has always been in her head. My husband had to take the bat from her so many times for beating on the pole. It was beat. It was on the pole, on the wall, because it was in her head. It was always there. So I just want you to follow the beat that's always been there. Continue on with it. And so I'm so proud of you. Yes.
All right, Tylynn. My question comes to you with this project specifically. One thing I love about your music is the entendres and similes and metaphors that take so much effort and thought, even just to understand on the delivering end. And I just want to know, when putting together this project, what were some of like your most intense bars or that you thought about, like either it just came to you like, oh wow, that's hard, or you were like working the hardest, like kind of fit the words together to kind of deliver the message you're looking for? What were like some of the biggest punchlines that stuck out to you in this project?
Ooh wee.
Hold on. More like nurturing cattle.
raising the stakes. Yeah, that was one of them easier bars, but kind of like in that same vein. I think one was kind of the like, who put the rye inside of my dough to slow the rise of my bread up. That was one that was a little bit more complex when I put it together, and I was like, ain't nobody gonna get this bar, but I'm gonna say it anyways. You know what I mean? Like, the MCs will come back to it and be like, hold on, what's she saying? Then be like, yo, that's crazy. So that was like one of the ones I would say. And then I think when I on Old Faithful, when I did the whole scheme with this the way that Will love Jada, no, this the way Jada love Pac, the type of love that when they try to take it, you tell them kick or punch rocks or slap rocks, because Will Smith slapped Chris Rock because Jada Pinkett Smith was mad, but it's like the love that he had for her was the love she had for Tupac. So that was another one of them. Yeah, it sucks. But you know what I mean?
Hello, Tylynn.
girl.
I wanted to say, what made you stay consistent as an artist? Because I feel like as an artist, it's not easy trying to drop music all the time because it takes a lot of effort and work. But what made you stay consistent?
Oh, that's a great question. And yeah, it's not. So really, like, if there's artists out here, man, who are on the come up and they really putting the work in, support them, y'all, because it really means everything. But I think the thing that kept pushing me, especially in this season, and I think I can speak to this season more than anything, is like my team. Like, when I say like these brothers right here, like they work so hard and they push me like within the same vein that I pushed them. That meant a lot to me. It really made me feel like, yo, I can't have step. I can't be, you know what I mean, like sleeping, because I got people that really, really believe in me and what I'm doing, and will be like, hey, yo, Ty, what you doing today? Let's make a beat. Or Ben is like, Ty, you got something? Send it my way. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, I better make something then. And so like, yeah, I think that was definitely one of the things. And then also, I think really just listening, right? Because there was a season where I was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if this is it for me. You know what I'm saying? But I think that, honestly, and it may sound like it's played out, but I don't care. I'm going to keep saying it. I feel like God really just showed me and reaffirmed it for me to be like, no, this is what I have always called you to do. Like my Nana said, like I told you, I started writing when I was like 6.5, 7. God showed me, no, this is what I've called you to do. You just been on the wrong path with it. I need to get you on this path. And once I chose the path that God was telling me I needed to be on, it's just like, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm in the place that I'm supposed to. And that really just keeps my fire lit, like, as well. So,
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, can you all right. Oh, okay. Can you speak to some of the times when you had an idea that you couldn't really figure out, like, how did you push through and fulfill that idea? Or when did you come to the point where you decided to just move on? Like, you speak to any of those situations? Like, what's your thought process when you get stuck? How long will you stay there? And I don't know, just like maybe speak to a time where you pushed through or you decided to move on to something better.
for sure. And you're referring to writing, right? Okay, so Blue Skies, the last song on the album, perfect example. Like, I wrote the hook, I just kind of like freestyled the hook. So I had that part. I wrote the first verse. The second verse, I did not write until literally maybe like 4 or 5 months later. And it really took for me to be in another place. And I was telling LP, I was like, I don't want to force it, but nothing feels right. Like, because the thing is, I can write just to write. Like, God has gifted me the gift of writing, so I could just be creative and write. But I was like, I don't want to just write to write. I want to actually feel like this is coming from my heart. And it really took for us I wrote the second verse in Mexico, actually, like in Cancun, Mexico. And it just came to me. I was just like standing on the balcony and I was just looking out. The sky was mad blue. I'm seeing like birds. I'm seeing like all this beauty. And then suddenly I just get this, I've been traveling around the world seeing many things. And I said, oh, this is the second verse to Blue Skies. And so really, like, I just walk away from it. I don't force it, and I feel like if it's meant to come back, it'll come back to me. Hey, Sniper in the building. That's another one of my producers that I work with, y'all. He been producing most of the Really Resilient series. The song I drop a song every Thursday. Yeah.
First, I just want to give White Pole his flowers because he really did his thing on them beats.
Come on.
I was right here, down in my head. I'm like, this is so crazy from a producer standpoint. Like, that was magnificent.
Appreciate you, bro.
You did great on that. My question for you is, how did you come to a point of theming the album the way you did when it came to like You Don't Know the Half, been telling your story and all of the things that you went through? How did you get to that point of like, this is what I want this album to be about?
So me and LP is interesting how we collectively, maybe by like the third or fourth record, when we conceptually was like, where we going, you know what I mean? And just based on the few songs that we had made, they were really so reflective of just like my life and all of that stuff that we were just kind of like, it's like, man, you don't know the half. Because this was LP's first time also hearing like my life in these stories, aside from just conversations that we have had, and it really was like a dang, this is crazy. So, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of like how we came up with that portion of it. And then from there, because it was like my debut album, my first project, I wanted it to be the foundation, right? So I could have just made a bunch of like fun songs and things that sound cool and will get playlisted. But I was like, nah, I want like when people go back and go like, let's go listen to Tylynn's first album, you find out who I am. So then from there, now I can just keep building and doing whatever I want. You know what I mean? With a purpose, obviously, but yeah.
We got one final question.
Okay. Come on.
My boy.
I'm gonna ask this for my dad.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
How do you create those good beats?
How?
Man, so I'm very thankful to the creator that I got, like, you know what I mean? I got a hell of an ear. I can't read music. I can't do none of that, but I can feel it in my soul. You feel me? So you done seen me, boy. You know what I'm saying? He done helped me. But, man, shout out to my son. I'm light pole, that's flashlight. You feel
Come
me?
on.
And we got nightlight falling asleep in a cousin lap. You know what I mean? Shout out to cuz. But yeah, man, just putting my soul into it, son, and like, you know what I mean, trusting the process. Yeah.
Amen. Thank y'all so much. We really, really, truly appreciate it. Like, it means the world to us. Seriously.
Man, with that being said, man, we going to end this amazing event. Make sure y'all cop the album June 2nd. Support. We got T-shirts for sale. And
25 in the back.
Let's go.
Make sure
Accepting donations.
Make sure y'all see them at these shows coming up as well, man.
June 17th. We're going to be out there, the Joy Fest, and we're going to have live band, right?
Yep. June 17th, y'all can catch us live playing with live bands. It's going to be super dope.
So
Juneteenth Joy Fest.
Man, thank y'all so much,
Yeah,
man.
thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
The beats, the flow, the rhythm. All movement starts from the streets. Streets saying our podcast.